Welcome to my model shop here on a cold winter night. We're expecting some snow later. We had about 5 or 6 inches today. I was out there shoveling. But tonight we're going to talk about my newest project. I got on this kind of quick. This started just a week before Christmas. And this is what I'm calling the F-22, F-23 Pennsylvania Railroad Gun Flat Car Project. And initially it started by I was printing a lot of O-scale model trains, 3D printing, and I decided to revisit one that I had printed back in 2020 or maybe even earlier, 2019. And it was the F-22 flat car. And I had a printer that wasn't as good as the one I have now, and I also was using some resins that weren't as good, so it was I got mixed results. I wasn't terribly happy, but I wasn't disappointed, and everything worked great, and I meant in the future to get back to it at some point. So in the midst of all the other O-scale cars I was building and O-scale details, I kind of stumbled upon it again and decided, hey, maybe I'll build one of these. Well, then I started doing research, as I usually do late at night, and I'm a night owl. And pretty much by the end of the night, I had formulated the idea that I was going to build a prototype World War II Pennsylvania Railroad gun train. These trains were used to haul the main guns of battleships. And these cars were specifically built for that, although they were also used by the Pennsylvania Railroad for hauling other heavy-duty objects like transformers, bridge sections, and so forth. So, started building it, and this was the test I did last week at the Cherry Valley Model Railroad Club in Merchantville, New Jersey. Wanted to test the concept to see if the train would run well, the cars would track well. This is only 3 guns. The train itself will eventually be 6 guns and 18 flat cars. Plus, I'm going to have a few extra flat cars for other naval loads. But this is the car, or cars. And you can see I'm modeling it carrying a 14-inch gun. They also carried the 16-inch guns and also smaller 14-inch guns. This is, I think, a 1448 caliber main battleship gun. It would have been found on, let's say, the New Mexico class of battleships during World War II. It was about 60-something feet long, so they would load the breech, try to center that on the rear flat car, and the breech would always face forward on the train. And then, however far, the older picture that I had shown in the start of this video, they were able to fit the smaller 14-inch guns completely on 2 cars. And but the 14-inch 48s, they would have had to have like an idler car for clearance in between. So I need to have 3 flat cars per gun. So these flat cars are entirely 3D printed except for the wheel sets. The trucks are 3D printed. The metal wheel sets are from Intermountain. The couplers are by KD. The decals are by K4 Decal Company. And the wood deck is laser cut out of basswood. And I program my laser to do that. Although there are plenty of commercial products out there, I believe, that you could get, or you could just use scribe basswood to do this if you, as most people probably don't have a laser. There's some brass rods and a few miscellaneous things, but everything else is 3D printed, including the gun and the loads. There is a 1/2-inch outside diameter evergreen and plastic struck tube through the middle of it. But other than that, it's 3D printed. It's going to be a multi-part series, and we're going to start with printing the cars. So enjoy the videos, and stay tuned for the entire series. Thanks for watching. So with my reconfigured or expanded scope of work for the F-22 flat car projects, and I'm making a lot more of the flat cars. I'm kind of playing around with the print a little bit, and trying to get everything I need in one print. This is roughly the size of my plate. As they call it in a resin printer, it's the plate area. And what I'm doing is I'm actually laid everything out that I would need for a single flat car, F-22 flat car, plus some extra. So if you look at, and this is how it comes off the plate, it prints upside down like this. So this is the last thing that prints is right here. This is the first thing. So this actually has a few more layer lines than I thought. They might come out when I put it in the curing. This has been printed, and then it would spin in the washer for about 30 minutes or so. And now I actually take the supports, which are all these, off between washing and curing it. Once you cure it, everything gets really hard and brittle. And there's two thoughts to that. Some things I leave because it's actually better to take it off when it is brittle. But most of the supports, while they're flexible, they're a little easier to break off. Like you can kind of see, they just kind of tear off without damaging anything, and they pull off completely. So, I'd rather do it now while everything's kind of spongy and flexible. Now, one thing I did think of that I wonder if I left the supports on and I cured it, whether I won't have that warping issue. But I think I would, because I don't think the supports are strong enough to resist any kind of warpage. So I think I still would have that issue. But if you see, I have the frame for the F-22, or 23 if you want to do a 23. And then I have everything to build the correct PRR trucks that were used on this. They actually were heavy-duty trucks for the time. I think they were rated for 90 or 100 tons. I think at 100 tons. And overall, I think the car was 190,000 pound load limit, which was almost 100 tons for a flat car in the very early 1900s. That's pretty impressive, actually. Probably because it was so short, because of this, the beam shape on it, and the heavy-duty trucks that they used. Because I think that was the issue when the cars were built. It wasn't so much building the flat car strong enough, it was having trucks that were strong enough. And initially, when this car was built, they had arch bar trucks, but they quickly replaced them with these trucks. I think the arch bars only lasted maybe 10 years or so, and then it went to this, and they changed. I think with the arch bars, they were around 150,000 pounds, and then they were able to go up to 190,000 pounds with they're the F1 something. Penzi guys would know what they are, but they actually are kind of strange because they have leaf spring and coil springs. They're a combination of both. So yeah, I have enough to do the trucks. I actually have 5 side frames, so I left myself 1 extra side frame, and I have 3 bolsters, 1 extra bolster. And then the spring assemblies, I think I have 5. So I have 1 extra spring assembly. That's these. And then I printed out the parts I need for the brake gear underneath. So I have the air reservoir right here. I have the AB valve right here. And then I have actually 2 brake cylinders I printed, because I had never printed these ones before, so I wanted to see how they came out. As far as the handbrake, this car had a deck-mounted handbrake. It was mounted in the corner, or would have been this corner here, I think. Originally, they were on both sides, but then by the prototype that I'm building, they were on the one side. And they were removable handbrakes, obviously, because they were flat cars, so they just lifted out. the rod, and then there was a fitting on the deck. So the fitting on the deck is actually this fitting right here. And then the underneath the car, this is, I think, the part underneath the car, which is like the gear and then the linkage that would connect to the cylinder, the brake cylinder, or the whatever they call it, the lever on the cylinder there, to let off the brakes. And I printed a bunch of them. I think I did 3 of them and 3 of the other ones. And just to, again, those are first time prints. The only thing on here that I probably shouldn't have bothered with are the steps. They're a little too heavy. They're side mounted steps. I'm not going to go in and change all the print around. I'll just cut them off and I'll save them, and they might get used somewhere else down the road, but they're not expending a lot of resin, and it's not worth the time doing it. So you can see the bolsters pulled right off there. And then here's a truck frame. Let's see if I can get one of them out. They might be a little tricky. Sometimes I got to get out the snips if it looks like it's going to damage the part. So there's the truck frame, and you know, just, I don't want to do too much with it because they're soft right now, but they just fits in and goes up. And then the spring assembly presses in from the back, and I put a little dab of glue on it. And it'll be flexible enough. It's still brittle, but it'll bend just enough to get intermounted trucks in. And again, these had to be modified because I'm dealing with OW5, not Proto 48. So they don't scale up that well, because I'm scaling up from 129 scale. So there's the flat car frame. Like I said, a little bit more, I don't know why, but a little bit more, I'm going to see if that comes off. Like, I don't know if that would show up in the paint or not. It might not. It might just be like a color thing. It might have just been like the resin. I don't know if I can, but it's throughout the car, and I didn't get that on the last one I did. So this is a new, you know, orientation, I guess. So maybe that had something to do with it. I was also at the bottom of the barrel on the resin, so that could have had something to do with it, I guess, too. So I'll have to see. But it's actually, they're almost like perfect, you know, like spacing on them, which is kind of strange. Why it would happen in, like, you know, perfect sequence like that. But we'll see what happens when I cure it. And so that's that. And like I said, every one of these should give me, I forget how long the print took. It took, I think I started it late morning, maybe around lunchtime I started it. And I think it ended, you know, maybe it was a 6-hour print or something like that. The flat car's up on an angle, so that's part of the problem. It takes a while. And again, you can see this just fits in mine. This is only a 30-foot flat car. I do have a 40-foot flat car, but it would print more vertical like this, and it would be a really long print that I can print in there. But it's nice having it all in one piece. So thanks. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for additional installments of building the cars and painting and decaling them. Thanks for watching.